To prime or not to prime? That is the question. But first, let's talk about what does it mean to prime? What are primers? Are there different kinds of primers? I'm glad you asked. So first of all, let's start with what do you do before priming? And there's really only one product that I sell, that I recommend, that goes with everything I'm about to tell you next. And it is First Step Prep. Okay, we've talked about this before. This is a deglosser and a cleaner. And sometimes it's a primer because if you use this on your piece, you don't always need to prime. Let me explain. Some pieces are glossy or have an oily finish on them, and all you need to do is use First Step Prep, and then that's it. You just start painting, okay? So in that way, it's a prep and a prime. I hope I've made that clear. Now, let's talk about some of the other ways to prime your furniture. I am not talking about spray paint or big box stores primers or paint and primer. All it is whatever medium is going to make sure that your paint sticks to your furniture. So if that's First Step Prep, you're done, okay? Now maybe you just need to use a coat of a color to get you to a different color. Here's what I mean by that. You may not need a special primer, but if you've got something that's really dark wood and you want to paint it hot pink, I'm gonna say you can prime with your first coat of paint. Nothing else special. If you've already prepped and that wood is ready, you can just use a lighter color that primes you for the next coat. Now let's dig a little deeper. What if your piece has some light scratches? Not enough that you need wood filler, but just enough so that it's kind of bumpy and not smooth. This is where I use swamp mud. All right, this is somehow a very controversial product that I sell on my site. I think it's because people don't believe me. So watch this right here so you can see how I am applying the swamp mud onto plywood that fills in all the nooks and crannies. Now you could use wood filler, but I think that's overkill. And the benefit of swamp mud is that it's a paint and a filler all in one, okay? So that's an option. Now, let's say you have kind of thicker gouges or you want to cover an all over bumpy surface. If your piece has just been like jacked up somehow or fell off the truck or you have kids or animals, Texture Magic. I know, y'all are like, why don't you hold up these products? Because all my products look like crap or I'm out of them. I'm sorry, but I will link all of them so that you can find them all. Texture Magic is something that I sell by Miss Lillian's that you can add into your paint to make it thicker. Why does thicker matter? Because then it will stay and not self-level. It will stay in those nooks and crannies and build up a surface. Other thing that you can do with Texture Magic is just like it says. You can add a different texture. You don't just have to use it to fix what's broke. You can use it with a roller to create an embossed effect. You can use it with a trowel to create any kind of designs. I've used combs, I've used trowels, I've used embossed rollers. I've used it for everything to create all kinds of different effects. I now have a Pro Stick primer that comes in black. Because it's not all about going light colors, sometimes it's going dark colors. Also, for the super shifters, black is the very best base coat you can get. So when am I specifically gonna use the Pro Stick primer? When I really need it. Okay, so for example, leather, pleather, a jacket, your shoes, your boots, maybe a small ornamental object, maybe something from the Dollar Tree, maybe just something that is so super duper glossy that even my First Step Prep does not get all that shine off. Sometimes you won't know until it's too late. So if you've got a smaller piece or vinyl piece, like I'm doing a guitar case, I just did a bunch of ornaments, I just did some boots, that kind of thing, my Pro Stick primer will do the job. Like full stop, 100% of the time, it is the best. You can start there. It's just, I wanna save you guys money and I wanna save you guys time. It is pricier, but it's worth it. So keep all that in mind and let me know if you have any questions. And I think our next video, we should do the same thing, let me know what you think, with top coats. Is wax the last coat? Is varnish the last coat? Is acrylic the last coat? Is your antique and glaze the last coat? Is the super shifter the last coat? Y'all, it's just as complicated, but I'm gonna bring you the answers. Okay, happy priming.